Hey everyone, Doug from Convology here. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you can use a plugin called Uncanny Automator to automate the process of having somebody interact with a chatbot, have it register them on your WordPress website for an account, and then add them to a WishList member course for free. So the first thing we need to do is get the Uncanny Automator plugin. You can visit convology.com/automator and it'll take you right where you can pick it up. There's a free version and a paid version. The free version allows you to run automations on logged in users only, and the free version allows you to run them on logged in and anonymous users as well. And there's different recipes that you can create for automation for logged in and logged out users. For this tutorial, we're also going to use a chatbot. My favorite chatbot is Continually, which you can find at convology.com/continually. And there will also be links in the description of the video as well. And then the last thing we're going to use is WishList Member, which is a membership plugin for WordPress. If you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you know that WishList Member is my favorite membership plugin, and I'll have a link for that as well in case you're interested in picking that up. But let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at why this is such a cool automation that you can build. So the first thing I'm going to show you is Continually. This is my favorite chatbot builder, and what I've done is I've put together a little demo bot for us to look at. In this demo bot, this is kind of like the canvas where we can make our chatbot. We have a little welcome message that I created that just says, to register an account, we'll need a little info first. We ask them for their name, their email address. Then we have a custom external API integration, which we're using like a webhook. And then we have a thank you message. Now you can make this as complex as you want. You can have this chatbot interact with people. This can be part of your normal customer service. This can be guiding people towards things. But for the sake of this tutorial, I just wanted to show you what is possible, so we're going to keep it simple. So let's take a look at a couple of these components. These two things, the name and the email address, are simply just the elements that I was able to drag in on the left-hand side here. The external API, the webhook component of this, if I click in here and I take a look, we have what's called the URL and method. This is basically where we're going to send our data once we've gathered it. And this is actually to my demo site where I have Uncanny Automator installed. And Uncanny Automator provided me with this URL. And I'm going to show you where to get that next. Then we wanted to add parameters, which is basically a fancy way of saying we want to add data that we want to send somewhere to this URL. And then we decided to give it a name, email and name, and then a value. And these values are the variables that the chatbot collected when somebody responded to those questions of what their name and their email are. So the chatbot is basically just pushing these variables to this URL, and that URL is a hook, a webhook, that's just going to catch that data and use it how we want. So now let's hop over to the demo site and take a look at what we need to set up with Uncanny Automator in order to pick up this information and create our WordPress user. All right, here we are in the back end of my demo site. I have Uncanny Automator installed, and these are the recipes. So when you create a recipe, it stores it in a very familiar looking interface. This right here, the chatbot create account plus register for free course, is the one that I made ahead of time when I was testing this out. Let's take a look at the components of this, and then we're going to put this together in real time, a brand new one. So the first one is a trigger, right? An anonymous trigger. We don't have a WordPress user yet for someone that interacts with our chatbot. We're going to catch the webhook. The action is we're going to create a new user with the email that we catch from the webhook. And if there's an existing user, we're simply going to apply the next step in the recipe, the next action in the recipe to that user that already exists based on that email. And then we're also going to take another action, which is to add them to a WishList membership level. And then we're going to send them an email about having been registered and with a link where they can set their password and log in. So how cool is that? So let's go ahead and add a new recipe where I walk you through how to do that. All right, so in Uncanny Automator, like I mentioned at the start of this video, we have two options. The first is when we create a recipe, we can target those who are logged in, right? Who's this recipe for? People who are logged in, already have accounts, they're already users on our website. Or we can target anonymous people who are maybe people who are not logged in or people whose data we don't have. So for this, we want to choose anonymous. Now you will need the paid version in order to do this, but there are ways you could get around this by letting people register for free and then applying some of these automations to enroll them in courses and things like that. But I highly recommend Uncanny Automator It's not expensive and it's totally worth it, and it easily pays itself off. So let's go ahead and proceed with building our recipe for an anonymous user. So a couple things to point out here. The recipes that you see, these integrations, it's only going to show the integrations for what I have already installed on my website. It's smart that way, so it's not going to say like, here's 50 different integrations and basically make you have to sort through them to find out what you have installed. In fact, it's just going to say on my website that I have WooCommerce, and then Zapier is an integration that's kind of always available. So what we're going to use is the Automator core, right? As somebody, we don't know anything about these people. So we're going to choose that we want to receive the data from a webhook. Our chatbot is going to send that data. So we're going to choose the receive data from webhook option, and you'll notice here that it gave us this URL. We're going to take this URL and go back to our chatbot, and we're going to go back to our custom API, and we're going to paste in that link. Next, what we're going to do is go back to our recipe, and we're going to see that we have a couple of options here. We need to have fields that have a key and a value. That should look familiar. Remember in Continually, I showed you how we had an email and a name. So what I want to do is I want to go back to Continually, and I want to turn on the parameters. And let's go ahead and remake what I showed at the beginning of the video here. So under key name, we're going to choose, let's say, name. And then under value, let's go ahead and enter in using this syntax here, the squiggly bracket at name, and we'll close the squiggly bracket. And let's add another parameter. Let's add squiggly bracket, or I'm sorry, we'll call this one email. And then here we'll add squiggly bracket at email. And that's basically saying we want to choose to name this field, name and email. We technically could have put whatever we want here. And then over here, we're saying that the value is the variable that gets stored. And this is how Continually stores that variable. That's the syntax. So that's it. Now all we have to do is we have to click send request in order to send that test data over to our site. But first, let's jump over here to our site and let's click the get samples, right? We have to basically tell the website, hey, I'm going to be sending you some test data. So it's like, look, we're going to keep looking for 60 seconds. Let's jump back over here and let's click send request. It should be fairly quick in my testing. Yep, there we go, status 200. And if we jump back over to our website, there we go. Here's the data we collected. It's going to say, hey, we were sent a name and an email. Well, I want to use these fields. Great. Now, I could leave this as text for the email, but I also have found that you can also change it to email and it works totally fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just for the sake of this tutorial. I'm going to press save there. Now that we've configured our trigger, we need to configure what actions happen after somebody has sent us data through this webhook. So what we want to do is we want to create a new user because we want to register that user in our WordPress site. So we know that we have their first name. So we can come into here and we can say, I want to use, I don't know if you missed that, there's these asterisks here on the right. These are basically like the, I don't know if they're called tokens or something like that. But essentially we click on that and we can say, I want to use data from the webhook. And I want to use field number 1, their name. And we didn't gather their last name, but we did gather their email. So let's go ahead and use data from a webhook and choose email. And then let's go ahead and make the username the exact same thing. I like to use their email as well. Now we can choose a display name for them. I like to leave that blank. It's not necessary. They can set it themselves, and I'm pretty sure that WordPress will set it automatically as well. And we have the ability to set a password for them, right? They could have technically chosen a password in the chatbot, and we could have passed that data. But I'm going to show you what we can do if we leave that completely blank. And it has to do with what it says right here. If you leave this empty, you need to send them an email that says, hey, here's how we're going to generate a password for you. And now we have the option also to leave them as a subscriber or to choose another role on our website. If you're using, let's say, like a restrict content or a user role editor plugin or things like that, you can choose the appropriate user. But if you're just using like the default membership plugins, I recommend just leaving it as subscriber. Now, we need to decide what to do if a user already exists. So if a user already exists, if you click do nothing, that kind of seems intuitive, but if you click do nothing, the recipe is just going to stop and literally do nothing. However, if you choose select existing user, we can try to pair this data to somebody that already exists in the system. So I recommend using email. It's pretty much the surefire way to ensure that you're finding the same user. Now, that's pretty cool, right? We can literally create a WordPress user from somebody typing in their name and their email into a chatbot. And that by itself is amazing, right? Especially if you're a continually user. I know like a lot of people want to use continually to help customers register for accounts on their e-commerce websites. And that's amazing, but let's take it one step further and let's register them for a free course using WishList Member. So we're going to add a second action here, and we're going to choose WishList Member because that's one of the plugins that's installed on my website. I could also choose WP Fusion to add them, let's say, to my autoresponder like ConvertKit. They could literally be added to ConvertKit and now be receiving drip emails. Or I could do other things in WordPress, but for now, let's just choose WishList Member. And let's add them to a membership level. For this, let's choose free and click Save. That could be your free course. You could say, you know what, to anyone that registers for an account on my website, I want them to get this particular course access. I know a lot of my clients like to set up their websites that way. And now we need to send them an email. So we need to send them an email that one, tells them they've registered for an account, and two, how to log in and to set their password. So let's click Add an Action and click WordPress. And then scroll down and find Send an Email. And now we have the ability to send an email directly from our website. So for this to work smoothly, I recommend that you integrate with an SMTP plugin. I have another video, also a blog post about this at convology.com. So go ahead, I'll put a link in the description of this video actually for you to go ahead and watch that. I recommend this one right here in the sidebar of my site called WP Mail SMTP, but you can also integrate with Amazon SES, SendGrid, or any of those. So now we can choose a from email. You can leave this default if you like the admin email that you have set up. And the to is going to be the user's email. They've already given it to us, so that works perfect. Now we need to set a subject. The subject here can say something like, you're all set. Here's your login information, whatever you want it to say. Now the body could say something like, hi, and now we can use those tokens, and now we know information about them, right? We can say, hi, user first name. We can say something like, welcome to the name of our website. Glad you're here. We can say something like, we've automatically enrolled you in our course, right? And maybe give them some information about that. Tell them what you've done so that they know where to go look, go find it. You can say something like, you can find that here. Maybe you link to it. And then you can say something like, to reset your password or to set a password for your account, visit the link below. And here's where we're going to insert another token. This is, I believe it's an advanced token. No, I'm totally wrong. That's the automatic login link. For this one, we're going to use the common. Yeah, here it is, user reset password URL. Awesome. So with that, that's going to give them a link that they can click on where WordPress helps them change their password. And you can customize the way that all looks using something like LoginPress or any number of options. If you use like LearnDash, I think it's already customized in how it looks. And then something I like to do is to log in immediately, simply click here. And this link is where we use that advanced token called an automatic login link. They'll simply click the link that they get sent and it logs them in even if they've never set a password. It is awesome. And then you can say something like, you know, we can't wait to see you in the members area or the Facebook group, whatever you want, and then sign off or however you want to do it. So after you've written your email, you simply click save. And now we have an awesome automation, right? We've got them to interact with our chatbot. They've sent that data to WordPress. We've created a user account in WordPress, which still blows my mind. I've been trying to do this for years. We've added them to a WishList member course. They've literally possibly never even seen our website. And I'm creating another video on what I mean by that. We can literally have them interact with a chatbot on one website and register them on another entirely separate website. That's awesome. And then we're sending them an email about their account. We could even add another action. We could literally at this point use something like WP Fusion Lite, which is completely free, and we can add a tag to this user, and basically in our ConvertKit account or ActiveCampaign or whatever email program we use, we can literally register them, tag them, put them into a drip sequence, get them into our email marketing. How cool is that? So we'll do that as well. We'll register for them for our newsletter, and we'll save that. And now we have to go through and we have to change all these from draft to live. And that's it. We're done. When somebody fills out information in our chatbot, it is automatically going to send them into our system, register them, and create an account, add them to a free membership level or any membership level in WishList member, email them details about their account, and add them to our autoresponder. So again, this is such an awesome integration that's made possible by this plugin, Uncanny Automator. Again, that's at convology.com/automator, where you can pick that up. And continually, this amazing chatbot right here that makes the first part of this entirely possible, you can get that at convology.com/continually. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. I just wanted to keep that really simple and show you a really cool way to kind of make this integration happen. I'm going to create a couple more videos that talk about automation surrounding e-commerce businesses, different ways to integrate maybe Thrivecart and their webhooks into this process, and other ways that we can use chatbots and e-commerce to increase conversions. So that'll do it for me, guys. This was Doug at Convology. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the video or at convology.com, and I will be happy to help. We'll see you in the next video.